Hi, this is David Quatello with Siemens. In today's Brain Shark video, we'll be talking about the Siemens SENTRON Busway system and discuss some key features and benefits that'll help both the installer and the end user. So, why Siemens SENTRON Busway? The SENTRON Busway typically takes up to 50% less space, again causing a smaller footprint, which our owners and end users definitely appreciate. What they probably appreciate even more is that the SENTRON Busway costs between 15 and 40% less to install. Again, that's depending upon your amperage. Now, let's compare the SENTRON Busway to other busway manufacturers. Three points here that we really want to touch on is the electrostatic powder. The coated minimizes the insulation impurities to ensure longevity and the robustness of the product throughout the facility's lifespan. Now you look at the UL rating, it's 100% UL rated, whereas other manufacturers are only 80% rated. And then lastly, we're going to take a look at that one-piece conductor design. Essentially what that means is that there are no welds in your conductor. This means higher short circuit strength and more effective conductivity. Looking at the four options in the Siemens UL Busway product portfolio, SENTRON is the most flexible product of these four options, with applications ranging from the traditional manufacturing environment to cutting-edge IT applications. The sandwich style means more effective heat dissipations, less conductor, and lower costs than traditional air insulated. On this slide, I really want to drive home a few key features of the Siemens Busway system. One of them being the integral phase tab on plug-in busway. Integral phase tab means no welds in your conductor. The integral phase tab is important as it makes sure that we have a mechanically strong and electrically effective connection point to bus plugs. The second key feature of the Siemens Busway system is the electrostatic epoxy spray process. Now, versus the competition who does epoxy dip, the electrostatic epoxy spray helps to avoid impurities in insulation that may lead to insulation failures, hence short circuits. Siemens has options to meet any application type, and the product is quite flexible. On this slide, we want to look at a visual representation of the plug-in openings. As you can see on the first illustration on the top, you have the joint stack, and then you have a diagram of the plug-in opening. Below, you have the multiple phases, the neutral, your internal isolated ground, and then your integral ground that we mentioned earlier. Remember that there are no welds in the conductors or housing ground. All electrical conductors are one piece, which is very important. Here we have an image of the joint stack. The phase indicating arrows are an important user feature and indicates the phasing of the busway. The joint covers have these same arrows, which must point in the same direction, thus ensuring correct installation. The second head of the double-headed joint bolt shears off during installation when proper joint torque is reached. Very reminiscent of one of the PowerMod quick system features called quick torque. This design feature ensures proper installation and allows for easy verification of proper torque upon installation. These are key features that drive the ease of use of the Siemens Busway system. In this cross-sectional view, you can really see where the Siemens SENTRON Busway is a step above the competition. You can see here in the middle your neutrals, your various phases A, B, and C. And then you can see here in the illustration the plug-in opening, your housing ground, as well as the phase tab. So again, a nice illustration of the cross-sectional view of the SENTRON Busway. Now we're going to talk about the SENTRON bus plugs, and in this case the breaker. The SENTRON bus plug breaker has amperage range of 15,800 amps. Interrupting ratings are standard, high, and current limiting. It comes in standard, which is your molded case, current limiting, and solid state. It has both indoor and splash-proof protection. And then in terms of plug-in spacing, it plugs up to 400 amps using a one plug-in opening, 600 amps and greater use two plug-in openings, and it has both a horizontal and vertical configuration. As you probably already know, bus plugs are used to tap off power. We want to emphasize here that all bus plugs use the same plug-in base or connection method to the busway. This means that the plugs are interchangeable across different busway amperages. Additionally, this plug-in base is rated, as I mentioned, for 800 amps, and all bus plug amperages utilize this 800 amp design. These plugs are typically installed in industrial or high-rise applications. Now we'll take a look at the fusible type of the Sentron bus plugs. Amperage range here are 30 to 600 amp. The fuse types required are type H, J, K, R, and T fuses. Has both indoor and splash-proof protection. All plugs use that one plug-in opening, and they have both that horizontal and vertical configuration. Again, I can't stress this enough, that all plugs use that one plug-in opening, again utilizing the 800 amp plug-in base design. These plugs have a large presence in, again, the industrial, high-rise, and even the data center applications. These also utilize the same robust internal switching components as the Siemens Safety Switch product line. On this slide we have the Sentron bus plugs using the Fused Surge Protection Device, or SPD. The use here is to prevent both internal and externally generated surges from propagating through a facility. The application types, you have multiple exposure types here. You have your low exposure, medium exposure, and high exposure type applications. We're looking at data centers and hospitals perhaps. Optional packages for the Fused SPD would be a remote monitor, surge counter, dry contact, and an audible alarm. You have splash-proof protection. Once again, all plugs use that one plug-in opening, and you have both the horizontal and vertical configurations. Lastly, we have the 3.6 bus plug. Typical applications here include data centers and some light industrial. This plug is based on the XJL 3.6 bus plug product line, which was an industry first in offering true plug and play capabilities, which helps to minimize installation costs and complexity. Now, as mentioned before, all plugs use that one plug-in opening. Some optional packages for the 3.6 bus plug are the Siemens embedded metering, otherwise known as SEM3. Also, surface mount and corded receptacle are part of the optional packages. Also, there is a quick ship program that fits in with the 3.6 bus plug. This quick ship program is available for installation alterations and additions and available for certain configurations. Please consult with the factory if a large order quantity is required. Okay, just to recap real quick, why the Siemens Sentron busway system? Well, again, compared to cable and conduit, busway typically takes up 50% less space, and busway costs between 15 to 40% less to install, depending upon your amperage. Now, when we compare it to other busway manufacturers, there's a couple pieces that we really need to drive home here. The electrostatic powder coated minimizes insulation impurities to ensure longevity and robustness of the product throughout your facility's lifespan. Also, with 100% UL rated, whereas other manufacturers are only 80% rated. And the one-piece conductor design means there are no welds in your conductor. This means higher short circuit strength and more effective conductivity. Again, this is Dave Quatello with Siemens. Thanks again for listening.